Very good afternoon. And today's our talk is on abbreviations, abbreviations, and acronyms. This is our talk today. So, why are we supposed to learn these abbreviations and acronyms? What is the importance of these things? I'm telling you one thing. Most of the times, these abbreviations and acronyms are actually used when it comes to technical writing. If you go to any scientific research or any PhD research, any kind of research for that matter. So when we go there, when we wanted to write down some points, or in order to save the time and as well as the space, we the one who's supposed to use these abbreviations and acronyms. They literally save our time. So for that sake only, we actually use these abbreviations and as well as acronyms. And recently, what happened in the current competitive examinations, and they're also asking these abbreviations and as well as acronyms as a part of student as a part of to check the knowledge of a student. So let's see what these abbreviations and acronyms actually deals with, and now what is the difference between these two abbreviations and as well as acronyms. Let's going to see how these things actually plays an important role, and the examples for two these things. Thank you. As I have told you the importance of these abbreviations and acronyms, let's see what abbreviations actually stand for and what actually acronyms stand for. I'm telling you one thing, this is very small topic. In the examination, even they'll ask you the words that which you have to answer. That's it. So it's not a big topic, and it's not even a topic to be discussed, to be spent time more on it. Okay, let's see what are these abbreviations. Abbreviations are nothing but, I guess, abbreviations are nothing but a shortened form of a word, a shortened form of a written word or a phrase. So most of you might be knowing of this one. See, as you're seeing an example here, MLA. So M stands for member, and L stands for legislative, and A stands for assembly. So all these are actually called as this type of writing is called as an abbreviation. This one is actually called as an abbreviation. So MLA, MP, US, AMT, DR, OCT, CONT. So these type of words are all called as what? As these abbreviations. Remember one thing, in order to identify whether it is an abbreviation or acronym. For abbreviations, we use all full stops in between the letters, or in between or amongst the word, amongst the letters. See here, MLA, we use the full stops here, and MP, we use full stops, and here it's something, so that's the reason we didn't use anything, and we used full stop, and here also, everywhere you're going to have full stop. Take it for granted, most of the abbreviations are carrying or do carry these full stops. So on seeing to them, we can tell whether it is an acronym or a synonym. Acronym or an abbreviation. Why we have to use these abbreviations? What's the importance of these abbreviations? I'm telling you one thing. In order to save the space and time, and in order and to avoid the repetition of long words and phrases, we actually use these abbreviations. Except that there is no use of it. So MP, in the place of writing member of parliament, so we better write it as MP, where everybody will understand. Instead of writing MLA, instead of writing member of legislative assembly, if we call someone as MLA, everybody can easily understand. So it is actually saving our time and also saving the space when you write something. And instead of writing it as United States, if you say US, can be easily understood. And instead of writing the whole word or saying amount, so it is better say it as MT. And instead of writing full form doctor, if you write DR is okay. Instead of writing instead of writing October, if you just write it as OCT, will be understood. And instead of writing continued or continuing or continue, if you write a CONT, can be easily noticed. This word, if I'm not mistaken, when you go for final examinations, you will be given a booklet where it is also, sometimes you can see PTO, page turnover. So instead of writing page turnover, they just kept the word page turn, PTO. So where we can easily understand, this page need to be turned over. That is how we actually understand. So in order to save the time, space, and avoid the repetition, For that sake, we actually use these abbreviations. So this is what is all about the topic called abbreviations. And next one, it is acronyms. What are these acronyms? Acronyms are kind of abbreviations. They're also just like a abbreviation, but the thing is here we cannot pronounce those abbreviations as a word, but these acronyms can be pronounced as a word. For example, if you see, MLA cannot be pronounced as a word, MP cannot be pronounced as a word. We have to read them separately. We have to no you know speak out separately. But when it comes to these acronyms, these are can be pronounced as a word. For example, NATO, AIDS, OPEC, SPA, WASP, how we are actually pronouncing them. So that is the main difference between these abbreviations and as well as acronyms. See examples. Now we are actually abbreviations and acronyms are going to be formed with the initial letters of that particular the particular words. So here we have this entire sentence, entire word, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So we took the all initial letters of these words, NATO, and we put them together, and these are actually pronounced as a word. So that's the reason we call it as a acronym. And AIDS, Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. So we took all the first initial letters of these words and formed it as a AIDS. And we took Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. We took all the initial letters and we made it as OPEC. And we took Society of Professional Accountants, which is actually formed as an acronym, that is SPA. And WASP, White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, which is actually pronounced as WASP, became an acronym. And as soon as possible, this one is actually most of the people are actually using this one. And radar, radio detecting and ranging, and scuba, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. So this is what actually acronym stands for. These acronyms can be pronounced as a word, and which are similar to these abbreviations. But when it comes to these abbreviations cannot be pronounced as a word, because mla we cannot pronounce, mop we cannot say, dra, oct. So this is not the way we actually pronounce when it comes to abbreviations. So that is the reason these abbreviations cannot be pronounced as a word. So that is the reason we call them as abbreviation. But if they are actually pronounced as a word, we can call them as acronym. That is the difference between abbreviations and as well as acronyms. This is what the topic all about, abbreviations and as well as acronyms. So in the examination, in the examination, they'll ask you to write about what are abbreviations and acronyms with examples. Then that is how you have to write. Or else they may ask you to give examples exclusively for abbreviations and acronyms. So then you have to write. So when they're asking you to write about, or when somebody is asking you the difference between abbreviations and acronyms, you simply tell them abbreviations are nothing but a shortened form of a written word. That's simple. And what are acronyms? Acronyms are just like abbreviations, but they're going to be pronounced as a word. That is the only difference between these abbreviations and acronyms. So this is what is all about the topic called this. And you can ask me any doubts, any queries. If you have any queries, you can ping me on WhatsApp, or else call me when ask me when our classes when we have English class. Thank you.